Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World with me, John Jordan. So doing our monthly roundup of the most popular blockchain games. As ever, data taken from DAppRadar, so I thought I'd start off with DAppRadar, dappradar.com. You can go here and you can sort all the dApps on goodness knows how many blockchains now. Obviously, I'm just looking at the games. So this is what the games look like at this point in time, and this is sort of the data we're using to create our graphs. You can just go and download it if you want to. There's a whole bunch of games here. You'll see probably certainly the top 5 I cover, but then I don't cover 6, 7, 8. So there's a few in there that I just don't cover because I think they're sort of pretty sort of spammy sort of games, and often they have sort of very high sort of activity one or 2 months, and then it sort of goes away. So I'm sort of filtering. If you want to have the unfiltered sort of data, go to DAppRadar and you can get it there. Okay, so onto the graphs. This is what our graphs look like. As ever, I've sort of broken them down into a few different ones, and actually got actually look at the data in a different way this month as well. So let's sort of zip through this. This is not anything we haven't seen before if you looked at one of these videos. So these are the most popular blockchain games, looking at the DAppRadar data. So this is looking at the daily active unique wallets. This is just for on-chain activity. So this is for wallets that are interacting with smart contracts, the smart contracts that underpin these games and doing something. Could be, I guess, trading, or could be signing a transaction, something like that. But they're on-chain stuff, not off-chain stuff. Off-chain stuff, we can't measure that because it's not data that's publicly available on a blockchain. So this is for the whole of 2022 so far. So a little asterisk there. So we start off with January, and we can see here that Splinterlands was the most popular game, got up to about 350, over 400,000 daily active unique wallets. They did this big change of their reward structure, got rid of a lot of bots. Slowly been building up, so it went down to under 100,000 now, sort of between 150,000 and 200,000 daily active unique wallets. It's sort of a bit of roughly every 2 weeks you get this sort of peak, which is to do with the reward structure. You can see this was much more prevalent when there were a lot of bots in there, so bots would sort of play to sort of make sure they scored well on the reward structure here. The players sort of spread out a bit more, I think. That to me suggests a bit more human activity. So that's where we are with Splinterlands, still doing sort of okay. Second most popular blockchain game, running on the Hive blockchain. In blue we have Alien World, so this is running on mainly on Wax, a bit on BNB. So this has been pretty steady throughout the year. I'm actually pulling away a little bit now as Splinterlands drops off a little bit. So over 200,000 daily active unique wallets. Alien World is sort of just in the last week or so has announced a whole bunch of DAUWS stuff going on with its planet. So potentially we would maybe expect to see a bit more activity. Again, with Alien Worlds, I expect there's a whole bunch of bots in there. These sort of games are designed that it's not, bots can be positive to the ecosystem because they're doing sort of certain roles. You don't want too many bots. Obviously, you want to sort of have some control level over them. I would suggest here, probably with Alien Worlds, we're seeing a bit more human activity coming in as we have this sort of DAO structure for the planets getting sort of kicking out, and a whole bunch of other stuff for them next year. So we'll see how Alien Worlds is doing. But it's sort of, again, there's lots of volatility, lots of peaks and troughs in this data. But we can see sort of over the year, sort of Alien Worlds has gone up a bit, but not really very much. You can see here in red, Farmers World, again, one of these running on the Wax blockchain. One of these games probably has a bunch of bots on it, not particularly. It doesn't have sort of exciting gameplay. It's sort of menu-based idle game where you're getting these resources. So we can see here it's sort of got up to about 150,000 daily active unique wallets now sort of on a decline. So actually slightly lower than where it started the year out. You can also see here the data. The start of the year was very granular, up and down, and then became very smooth. I think it's something to do with DAppRadar, how DAppRadar was dealing with stuff. We have all these sort of issues now with exactly what smart contracts DAppRadar is tracking, and is it tracking the right ones, and all this sort of stuff, which we saw with Decentraland. Anyway, so that was going on there, and then Axie Infinity. I guess no one's surprised here. It was very sort of high at the start of the year, and then sort of progressed downwards, and we don't really expect much to happen on that until the mobile version goes live in the app stores, which is looking like it's taking longer than we expected. And there's a whole bunch of so this game is sort of being rebuilt. There's a whole bunch of other stuff going on, running on the Ronin blockchain. So there is some other activity. I don't think this is looking at the DEX stuff or the staking stuff or the new gameplay for land that's been brought in. I don't think, not that I'd expect that to have a massive uptick, but there's a whole bunch of stuff going on with Axie Infinity and the Ronin blockchain. And we'll sort of see where that happens, how that comes to over the next few months. But I've been saying that for a while, so we'll wait and see. Obviously, most of the activity on Axie Infinity happens off chain. So those are the those are the 4 biggest games, sort of in the 100,000 sort of area. These are some taken from 100,000 down to sort of 0 here as our scale. If you look back, the scale here was up to 500,000, although obviously there's no games up at 500,000 at the moment. So we have Upland, which is this mobile-based Monopoly-style game, although they're adding more sort of gameplay in there, doing a racing sort of mode in there. And we can see, for the year for Upland has actually been pretty steadily down. So that at one point they were, for the first 2 months, over 50,000 daily active unique wallets. Now they're down to 25,000. So quite a strong drop off there. I think they've had to curtail maybe what they would like to do from a design point of view, because they are available through the App Store and the Google Play Store, which means there's certain stuff you can't do. So clearly there's some sort of decline going on there. Maybe this new sort of racing game will help them on that point. Although generally you sort of probably just need to do some more marketing. So we'll see. But they basically over-halved. What else we got? Nine Chronicles. So this is a running on its own blockchain. It's a PC-based sort of idle RPG from a South Korean company. And we can see here, I mean, again, very very early days here. Basically starts from 0, but it's got up to between sort of 15,000 daily active unique wallets. I haven't played it actually very much this year. I played it quite a lot last year. We'll see how they get on, if they can sort of scale it. To me, it seems more like a mobile game than a PC game, but what do I know? So anyway, they're heading up, obviously with some volatility. And then we have Benji Bananas, which is running on the Polygon blockchain. It's not. I mean, Benji Banana is a mobile game, but what we're looking at here is people who own this NFT, the Benji Banana coin, I think it's called. And if you own that coin, you can collect these primate tokens. So what we're seeing here is sort of people who own this token sort of mining out these primate tokens. So people who own the NFT mining out these tokens. So this is not, we're not really recording people playing the game, because that's off-chain activity. Benji Banana, very simple sort of physics-based mobile games, quite a nice game to play, but not a lot of depth to it. But this is basically a token distribution, and we tend to find that these can sort of rise very quickly, and then it depends on what happens really to the price of the token, whether people want to keep doing it or not. But that's what we're seeing here. So, but anyway, I mean, it's over 30,000 daily active unique wallets at the moment. So we'll see where they end up at all. Really, I think with this one, it depends how much utility they can build into the primate token. Really, there isn't a lot at the moment. And finally, I'm looking at these 2 games from Joyride Games, which is a US developer doing mobile games. 2 games it's released, or 2 games we have data for. I think there's another one that's just being released. They have a whole bunch of stuff they will release. So we've got Trick Shot Blitz and Solitaire Blitz, both running on the Flow blockchain. Blockchain we haven't seen many good projects launch on, so it's interesting to see. We can see these both sort of roughly launched around the same time. And we have Trick Shot Blitz in blue, which has a sort of big impact on the first week, drops back down again, and now has sort of increased to 25,000 daily active unique wallets. So not a lot, but not nothing. Solitaire Blitz, obviously much more of a casual game, a sort of solitaire type game. So maybe less interesting ways of using blockchain in there. Again, launched pretty well, but has sort of dropped right off, and hasn't, unlike Trick Shot Blitz, which sort of has this sort of increase from a decline, then increased. Solitaire Blitz seems to have just sort of been declined. So about 10,000 daily active unique wallets, which again for blockchain games still not nothing. But I think one of the things with mobile is people think, well, we can get 3 billion mobile game players. If we can get sort of some of those playing our blockchain game, that'd be great. But obviously a little bit harder than that. The other graphs I've done are basically what I'm doing here is I'll just explain it first. Is I'm looking at the sort of the all-time high, so the peak audience levels, and the all-time lows, the lowest audience level. So in the case for Trick Shot Blitz, its peak would be up here, and its sort of lowest one would be around here. And then looking at the percentage changes. So where are we at the moment, and how does that compare to the peak and the trough? Solitaire Blitz, obviously the peak is up here, and the lowest one is sort of where we are at the moment, because it's an all-time low. So that's what I'm trying to just look at here and trying to categorize stuff. So different ways of looking at it. So we can see here, Alien Worlds, as we sort of looked at, hasn't really sort of dropped very much. So it's all, so compared to its current position today, compared to its all-time high, is sort of down, you know, whatever, 20%. But compared to its all-time low, it's up almost 100%. Because if we go right back and look at Alien Worlds, we can see here that there's sort of a trough down here where it got down to whatever, you know, 110,000 or something, and now it's up to over 200,000. So we can sort of get an idea of just sort of the highs and the lows. You know, same data just displayed in different ways. So Splinterlands is up 50% compared to its low, but it's down over 50% compared to its high. Farmers World's sort of the same, roughly. Axie Infinity is down almost like 97%, I think, down to its high, which again, it's not something we should be surprised about, but it's sort of interesting. And you see this characterization, sort of, you know, Upland basically it's been in decline all year, really, and it's declined whatever it is, 70%. Axie Infinity, pretty much the same, had a little increase from its all-time low. And these are obviously games that have been out for a while. These games have been live all year, so we can sort of the full year, or as much as we have, 10 months tracking. And we can also do this here, so we can look at, just put this on a graph, same data. So this is negative compared to its all-time low, and positive compared to its all-time high. So Alien Worlds, you can see quite clearly, is of the games that have been out for a while, you know, has from its all-time low has done really well. Splinterlands and Farmers World sort of in the middle. And these games sort of I'll actually put Solitaire Blitz in here. These games sort of we wait to see what happens, but they are basically sort of at the moment through 2020 have been in sort of quite steady and quite severe decline. And the other games we can look at, so these ones have only just launched, so it's sort of a little bit or they launched in 2020 from basically zero, so they have very high growth rates in blue here, but obviously that's because they've only just started, so you're comparing them to basically the day they launched, which was sort of no great surprise that they've increased sort of quite a lot, and they haven't decreased very much. But it's just to sort of show you there's different ways of looking at the data, and probably be looking more at that over the course of like when we get to the end of 2022, probably some graphs we can sort of pull out there and sort of compare and contrast and maybe think about why some of these games have done better than others. But anyway, that's the data for October 2022. So you know, in general, we're looking at these sort of broad trends. We know it's crypto winter. We know new games are launching, but basically we sort of see some games are sort of sustaining themselves, I would say, and some games are sort of struggling, which could be for crypto reasons, could be for their own sort of product reasons. We have to sort of dig into that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. See you again.